This is CNN Breaking News.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kate Baldwin. We are following breaking news right now. Any moment, officials in Wisconsin will be holding a press conference. You see the podium right there. This is the first press conference since the truly amazing news came out of a 13-year-old girl being found alive after going missing last October, almost exactly 3 months ago. The girl is Jamie Kloss. She has been found alive. There is her picture. A suspect is in custody. It's a story that captivated the country, shocked her small town of Barron, Wisconsin. The young girl vanishing on October 15th. Her parents found dead from gunshot wounds in their home. The breakthrough happening just last night when a woman walking her dog came face to face with the girl they have all been searching for. CNN's Ryan Young is in Barron County, Wisconsin, where this press conference is about to happen. Ryan, what are we expected to hear any moment now?
Well, you know, we were hoping to get more details in this case because so many people have been asking questions about how she was found, what happened next. And of course, this news conference is probably going to start within the next few minutes. But so many people arrived here from the community. In fact, this room is now full of people who are asking the same questions we are. Jamie, of course, was walking when someone who was walking a dog saw her, walked up to her. They reported that she looked like she was very skinny and she wasn't taken care of very well. Behind us now, everyone's walking in for this news conference. Hopefully, we'll finally get some of the details that we've been waiting to hear about how she was found, what she's been doing for those last 80 days. If you remember, her parents were found murdered inside their home a few months ago after a cell phone call was made to 911. And then after that was done, they arrived there. She was gone. So we'll start with this news conference now.
Good morning, and thank you for being here on this amazing day. For 88 days, I have stood before you and said we would work tirelessly to bring Jamie Kloss home. Today, I can report we have done just that. At this moment, Jamie is being in the comforting embrace of law enforcement as the investigation in her 3-month ordeal ensues. 88 days ago, we stood before you speaking about the unthinkable tragedy and asked you to help us find 13-year-old Jamie Kloss. For 88 days, you called in tips, brought us food, searched arm in arm with us, wrote us notes, and never gave up hope. As the days and weeks wore on, you still continued to call. Law enforcement locally and across the country continued to comb through over 3,500 tips, and the family never gave up hope. Last night, our collective promise was fulfilled with Jamie's safe recovery. Thank you to all. Joining me today, FBI Special Agent Justin Talomeo, Josh Call, Wisconsin Attorney General, Brian O'Keefe from the Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigation, Barron County District Attorney DA Brian Wright, Douglas County Sheriff Tom Dahlbeck, Captain Nick Wanek from the Wisconsin State Patrol, and Diane Tremblay, Superintendent of the Barron School District. Jamie is safe, and the family is requesting that you please respect their privacy at this extremely emotional time. Also, in a few minutes, you'll hear from Superintendent Diane Tremblay on a message from the school, and please respect the respect of no media on school property today, please. This case remains a team effort from the beginning, and I'll never be able to thank all the agencies and businesses, individuals that helped on this case with their singular focus to bring Jamie home. Yesterday, there was a lot of confusion with an erroneous social media post about 4:30 p.m. in Walworth County. This was an incident in Walworth County, but in no way had connection to this case as reported on Facebook. Shortly after I posted that Jamie was not involved in the Walworth County incident, my detectives were alerted a 911 call was being given out in Douglas County, responding to a person claiming they had found Jamie. I'm now going to bring up Sheriff Tom Dahlbeck, the Douglas County Sheriff, and he'll address this part of the incident. Sheriff?
Thanks, Chris. My agency received a 911 call about 4:30 yesterday afternoon from the individual who was out walking her dog. Said she was approached by a young female claiming to be Jamie Kloss. This lady immediately went to a nearby house, notified that neighbor of the claim, and this neighbor called 911, and my deputies responded en masse immediately and identified Jamie as the person that approached the neighbor, took control of her and possession of her, and put her in safekeeping. And a short time later, one of my patrol sergeants happened to find a vehicle that matched the description that Jamie gave my deputies of the suspect, and pulled the vehicle over and took the suspect in custody at that time. Beyond that, Jamie was taken to a local hospital up in the Duluth Superior area, where she was looked over and examined, and she was held overnight for observation. And the suspect was interviewed and subsequently brought back down here to Barron County. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Sheriff Dahlbeck, and thank your deputies for the work that they helped in this case. The suspect was arrested and is currently being held in the Barron County Jail. That suspect is Jake Thomas Patterson, Patterson. He is 21 years old, from Gordon, Wisconsin. He is currently being held on 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide for the murder of Jamie's parents and 1 count of kidnapping. Barron County District Attorney Brian White will give a brief comment next.
Thank you, Sheriff Fitzgerald. First of all, I want to thank everyone with law enforcement for the tremendous work that they did to bring Jamie home. That starts with Sheriff Fitzgerald and the Barron County Sheriff's Department. It includes the FBI, the Division of Criminal Investigation, and the hundreds of officers who came to Barron County to assist in this investigation. I saw firsthand how brave, determined, and dedicated these men and women are. It has truly been an honor to see the work that they have performed as public servants to this community. It was only a few months ago that we as a community gathered to pray for Jamie's safe return at Barron High School. God has answered those prayers. The case will now be referred to the District Attorney's office. Our office will review the reports and then make a charging decision. It is my intent to have a criminal complaint filed by next week. It is our job in prosecuting this case to obtain justice for James, Denise, and Jamie Kloss. We will do so.
Thank you. Thank you, DA Wright. This case remains very active and fluid as we stand before you today. We have FBI, DCI, State Patrol, Douglas County investigators, and Barron County detectives actively working the scene and conducting interviews, so details will be sparse right now. We do plan a 4 p.m. media update with more details to be released at that time, right here. As you heard, the charges of the suspect is being charged with kidnapping. Jamie was taken against her will and escaped from a residence at which she was being held and found help. We also do not believe at this time that the suspect had any contact with the family. We do believe Jamie was the only target. I can tell you that the subject planned his actions and took many proactive steps to hide his identity from law enforcement and the general public. Next, I want to invite some of our partners to make a few comments. Again, these agencies stepped forward coming here, never gave up hope, and became part of our community. I can never thank them enough. First, I'll bring up Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Justin Tolomeo.
Thank you, Sheriff. Again, I am Justin Tolomeo. I'm the FBI Special Agent in charge of the Milwaukee Division, which covers all of Wisconsin. We are so pleased to stand here today with our fellow law enforcement partners to celebrate Jamie's recovery. It is an incredible day. As the sheriff said, this case was challenging given the proactive steps the subject took to avoid detection. In cases like this, we often need a big break, and it was Jamie herself who gave us that break. We'd like to thank the citizens who came forward quickly to help save Jamie, and the fast action of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office to bring her home safely. I also want to recognize the tireless efforts of agents, deputies, officers, and staff who spent the past 3 months never giving up on Jamie. This is all the outcome we like to have when a child goes missing. This is all we want to see, and it happened in this case. Thanks again to Jamie's family and the entire community of Barron for never giving up on Jamie. Today we can finally say Jamie Kloss is home. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I want to bring up Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Call.
Thank you, Sheriff. First, let me thank Sheriff Fitzgerald for his incredible leadership throughout this process. Sheriff, people across Wisconsin, and I suspect across this country, are overjoyed that Jamie is finally safe. This was an effort that involved numerous law enforcement agencies, more than I have time to name. And I want to thank everybody who participated in this investigation. I want to thank everybody in the community who volunteered, who played a role, who supported this investigation, and who supported law enforcement. I want to say that I am incredibly proud of the work that the Department of Justice played in assisting with this investigation. The Department of Justice will continue to assist as needed with the investigation and with the prosecution of this case. So thank you again.
Thank you. Next, we'll bring up Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigation Administrator Brian O'Keefe.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. A lot of thank yous today for everybody. And I want to say, first, thank you to the media also for helping out. You guys have been present here, but you have also been a great resource to law enforcement getting the message out regarding Jamie. So that's incredible. Thank you to you. Also want to say thank you to all of our agents, the deputies. We've talked about it. This case had so many technical aspects that were very challenging for law enforcement. And everybody never blinked about putting aside their personal lives to bring a little girl home. And the work that got done is really, I don't think I've seen this much work done on any one case I've been involved in my entire career. And the friendships and the professionalism of all agencies at the local, state, and federal level have just been beyond what anybody could really expect. The FBI brought in resources from all over the country. DOJ had our resources. We're here on ground today trying to help the community recover. Our victim witness people are up here along with those from the local and federal level. There's a lot of people that are very emotional about the recovery of Jamie. It's a happy thing. But now we have to work on the recovery process, and we've reached out to a lot of professionals to help this young lady and her family as they're reunited, and she goes through a new healing process. So we ask that you just please respect the family today as we try to get this work through. There'll be time for questions and interviews on that later. But thank you again for everything.
Thank you, Brian. Lastly, I want to bring up Barron Superintendent Diane Trimley to talk about the school plans.
Hello, my name is Diane Tremblay, and I have the honor to serve as Superintendent of the Barron Area School District in Barron County. What a glorious day. This will certainly never be forgotten. There's so much love and hugs in our district today. It's just insurmountable. Jamie has been found safe and has been reunited with her family and friends. There is truly nothing in the world better than that. Now I would like to take time to address a few of the common questions that have come our way last night and this morning from all of you. What has it been like in the Barron Area School District in the past months? It has been 88 days of hope for her safe return, 88 days of prayers for Jamie, her family, friends, our students, staff, and community, 88 days of holding on to the faith that our authorities would never give up, and they certainly did not. Finally, 88 days of our close-knit community with the same goal in mind, and that was to bring Jamie home and back into our arms. I would like to thank everyone for your overflow of support that continues to come to us from local, state, federal agencies, businesses, families, along with the incredible small town connection that we have. We are truly a beautiful family. Most importantly, we want to thank Jamie for being so courageous and for achieving an opportunity to find her way back to us What an extraordinary young lady. What is the support like in our district was another question that was quite common. The support for our Barron Area School District has been nothing less than exceptional. The teamwork from our administration, our SRO, supervisors, counselors, school psychologists, and faith partners from our district, as well as other neighboring districts, has and continues to successfully address the distinguished needs of our students, teachers, bus drivers, support staff, as well as our entire community. The Department of Justice School Safety Team was the second call I received last evening. It came to me minutes after I received that miraculous call from Sheriff Fitzgerald, who was immediately assessing our needs in the district after he gave me this news. The DOJ Office of School Safety has partnered with us to ensure that our students, staff, and the larger school community receive the support that we need to feel safe during this investigation. The Office of School Safety has provided on-site support to Barron School District in the form of school psychologists trained in crisis response, therapy dogs from the Wausau Police Department, additional school resource officers, and emergency management guidance. The Office of School Safety has also contacted their partner, Safe and Sound Schools, to help us deliver training and provide support to our school community regarding crisis response, trauma, as well as recovery. In addition to the DOJ Office of School Safety, we are also grateful to the Wausau Police Department, Eau Claire Police Department, National Association of School Psychologists, and Safe and Sound Schools. One last question that's been asked that I would like to address. Will our district be holding a celebration or ceremony in the community of any sort? All I can say to that at this time is you better believe it. You better believe it. Jamie, we missed you, and we are so grateful you are home. Thank you.
Before I take questions, and we'll have to really, with all of you, we'll get to them, don't worry. I have some thank yous. Again, my thank yous will never be enough. Thank you to Jamie for having the will to survive. Jamie's family for their patience and keeping their faith in us. The people who rescued Jamie yesterday. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office and all their work yesterday. All the law enforcement agencies locally and across the nation that helped us with the tips. The general public for their support of Jamie. From Jamie Facebook groups to businesses that fed us to the posters that went up on semi-trailers around town, everywhere that you guys put posters up. The school, superintendent, teachers, and all the students for their notes and the beautiful tree lighting. The FBI, DCI, State Patrol, and all the other agencies that assisted us. To the members of my team, my command staff, the dispatchers that took all the tips, patrol officers for following up on all the tips, and our detectives as they continue the work in the field today. Lastly, my family for all their support and understanding over the past 3 months. This has been an awesome day, and I can't thank you guys, the media, enough either. I got lots of tips, or a text last night, tips of support. Not looking for information, just saying our newsroom is crying with you. That was pretty awesome. It's been a tremendous day. We'll be posting pictures and handing out pictures very shortly of the suspect. We also will email this out. This is the suspect currently in the Barron County Jail. Our PIOs from the FBI will be passing these out, and we will also email that to our press and put it on our Facebook page. So with that, many of us are here, are available to answer questions. Again, let's try to do it in somewhat.
Sheriff,
yes.
Did you or the other sheriff talk to us about Jamie's demeanor, her condition in those moments when she found that neighbor? What does she look like? What does she sound like? And how is she right now? Description about her.
I can talk about now. She is good. She's been cleared from the hospital, as Sheriff Delbeck said. There is a reunification process in place going on right now that includes medical, mental evaluations, questioning by detectives and FBI and DCI agents, and then reunification with family.
When does that take place, Chris?
We're working on that process. Is in place right now. Part of that is in place. We hope to have her back here in Barron County this morning or early afternoon.
How much do you know right now about what happened to her in the last 3 months? Do you know that yet, or
We do not know that. This group behind me does not have that information. This is a very active and fluid case. We are serving search warrants right at this moment in Gordon, in other areas for vehicles, looking for evidence. And again, that we hope to release a lot more of that information at 4 o'clock.
Sheriff, you said that Jamie was the target, not her parents. So what interaction, what contact did the suspect have with Jamie beforehand?
That's what we're trying to figure out now, but we believe it was we believe there's really none. No contact.
Do you know if they knew each other prior to this?
I don't know that. We're waiting for that. Again, we think at 4 o'clock we'll be able to release more information about that.
Did Jake Patterson have any connection to law enforcement or any criminal history prior to this?
Jake Patterson had 0 criminal history locally and 0 criminal history in the state of Wisconsin.
Sure, are you working with her that you're looking for?
We are not looking for any additional suspects.
Was Gordon on your radar before this?
Was Gordon on our radar? Gordon was not on our radar.
Did they have any on a first court appearance?
First court appearance?
We don't have that yet. That'll be set after we file our criminal complaint.
So sometime next week, though.
Yes.
We believe it'll be next week someday, or a day next week.
Did Jamie explain how she was able to get away yesterday?
She is currently doing that with our detectives now. I do not have that. I just know that she did escape from the home and did find help.
On that note, Sheriff, you've been working tirelessly for 88 days to see her escape by herself. What is that like for you?
That is the will of a kid to survive. It's the unthinkable. I mean, it's just, you guys understand the fake news that's out there, and you guys get bombarded with it. And we just had it prior to this. I mean, I wasn't done with the first tip about she's not in Walworth County and she's in Douglas County. How can that be? I mean, my head spins, as you guys have seen for the last 88 days. It's amazing the will of that 13-year-old girl to survive and escape. And that comes from the hope and the prayers and this community and what everybody did. I think what's very interesting is she was recognized immediately by both the female walking the dog and the people at the house because of the work that we did, the public did, and the media did. I think that can't go untalked about here. I mean, that was remarkable that people recognized her. Just what we wanted to happen happened.
Shutdown in history, or partial government shutdown in history, and we're getting nowhere here. And so this is another reason why I think a lot of people on the Hill believe that we are going to see an emergency declaration
she left my foot the scene, and the suspect has several vehicles. We're currently evaluating those vehicles.
This is total confidence on the part of the executive, because this has been going on again 2 years to get this done. This has been dragged
we were
on.
just briefed on that by our detectives. That's what they're trying to figure out right now with both interviews of the person we've arrested, Mr. Patterson, and the interviews with Jamie.
Both parties gave a little bit, got something done, and he could have looked big.
He does have a tie to Barron County.
Sheriff, you said that Jamie was held in the hospital overnight. Is there any signs of physical abuse?
I do not know the answer to that. All I know is she's medically cleared at this time, so she's available to our detectives to start the second part of the reunification process, which is the interview that they are conducting at this time so that we can bring her home. We can't comment on that yet because, one, we haven't been briefed on that. We just know that he has taken some measures to avoid detection from both law enforcement and the public. We don't know that. It appears that way, but we don't know. We can't confirm that completely yet.
By declaring a national emergency and diverting military funds earmarked for disaster relief.
At this time, I haven't been told who made that 911 call.
His problem wouldn't help workers at the TSA, the FBI, the FAA, and dozens of other agencies who remain either furloughed or required to stay on the job for free, no pay.
I mean, it was
Let's go to our colleague
first unreal, and is it true? And then when we confirmed with Sheriff Dahlbeck's team that it's confirmed it was her, my legs started to shake, man. It was awesome. It was just the stress and relief. I mean, it was just, it was awesome. I don't have a different word. I mean, it's just fabulous. It was just great.
When they were expecting to get paid. I want to give you some statistics that are
I don't know.
pretty wild.
I mean, my wife and kids are here, so I have to be careful.
federal employees.
It was pretty. It ranks right up there. I'll tell you that.
In the last week of December.
That
is up
awesome to call Diane, to tell the DA,
the week before. So who is eligible?
Talk to these guys that have been.
For the federal government.
They're just not
and
cops.
Also
they're part of this
employees.
community.
Those are employees who are not working.
Special Agent in Charge Justin Talameo said we're part of this community. When Brian O'Keefe's guys come up, and they've been part of this community. They've been part of it for 88 days. They didn't come here Monday until noon and come back on Friday. They worked every single day of the week on this case. It was tremendous effort by these people behind me. This is a team, and you guys are part of it. So thank you.
Sheriff, was there anyone else in Patterson's home in Gordon when you guys went there yesterday?
There was no one else in the home.
And where was he arrested?
Where he was arrested, I'm going to let Sheriff Dahlbeck answer that because I don't know.
Where was he actually? Where'd you pull him over?
Where did Mr. Patterson get arrested?
He was just down the road from the residence.
Did he surrender peacefully?
Yes.
Was he looking for her?
No, I don't believe so.
At this point, has he confessed to anything?
I'll leave that.
He's being interviewed. I don't know the answer to that.
Did Jamie identify the suspect, either from the hospital room or from wherever? Did she identify the suspect that you guys have?
I don't know the answer to that question either.
Sheriff, does Patterson own the house?
I don't know the answer to that question. Does he own the house? And I don't know the answer to that.
Do you know that Jamie was inside the home when her parents were killed?
Jamie was inside the home when her parents were killed.
Do you know how she was kept in that house against her will? She locked up?
Don't know that answer. That's what the search warrant is for right now. As we speak, it's being served.
Sheriff, who was your first phone call to?
Good question. My chief deputy, because I had to remember.
The family's reaction when you told them?
The family's reaction, we were able to coordinate efforts on that because we had a reunification plan in place. Excuse me. And we were able to do the family in Lady Smith. Some of that family was at a basketball game here in Barron, and we sent 3 teams out, and I got to tell Jennifer Smith. We had the Rusk County Sheriff and a detective tell the family in Lady Smith, and then my chief deputy did the family that was at the basketball game here. And they were broke down. I mean, it was, because they had heard about the fake news. So they thought we were coming to confirm that. It wasn't her, don't worry. But when we said she was found safe and alive, tears and lots of hugs.
Sheriff, why do you think she was a target?
Based on some limited information I have, I believe she was the target.
From her?
From our detectives. I don't know how they got that information.
Did they have any contact on social media?
It doesn't appear to be.
Sarah, can you talk about what immediately preceded the abduction?
Expand on that. Like, what did the suspect do?
Plan is actually a target, so just curious. Like you said, you didn't think that they had any contact beforehand.
Right. So I don't know what he did right afterwards. What he did with Jamie immediately after. I don't know where they went. I don't know if there's a secondary location. That's again what our detectives.
Have you recovered a weapon?
Have we recovered a weapon? I don't know that at this time.
Sheriff, why did you never lose hope that she was alive?
She's a 13-year-old girl, and I'm the sheriff of this county, and my job is to make sure everybody's safe. As these guys all take the same oath, and there's no reason to give up hope. We didn't have any evidence to show that she was injured or that she was hurt at the scene. There was no reason to give up hope. That tree lighting ceremony at the school, those kids believed, and when kids believe, it's easy for adults to believe.
At this point, does it appear that Patterson had any mental health issues?
I have no idea on that question.
Sheriff, tell us more about where she was being held at, this area, the type of home that's in.
It's a home in a remote area. That's all I know, outside of Gordon, Wisconsin.
Has she been there the entire time, or?
We don't know that answer.
Sheriff, how long was he planning this out? You know, he said it was planned for how, you don't have the timeline of how long he planned this?
I don't have an answer of how long. Oh, thank you.
How did the suspect know Jamie in the first place?
I do not know that answer. Our detectives are figuring that out as we speak.
And just to make sure I understood you correctly earlier, he didn't know her parents at all.
We don't believe that there was contact there.
When you say contact, does that mean physical contact?
Or
he had any relationship? He never had met them?
It doesn't appear to be.
So you believe he went there with the intention of abducting her and did whatever he had to do so?
It appears that way.
Did that 911 call pick up any audio that would glean
No.
information?
Two more questions, he said.
There was thousands of tips, but no leads. Why do you think this investigation was so difficult?
I think because of the steps he took
what we've been briefed on, again, I can't comment until we confirm a lot of that thing, because I don't want to tell you something and have to change my story. But it's a remote area. There isn't a lot of houses in that area. You know, he not only concealed his identity from us, it appears he concealed her from other people also, his friends.
She existed before all this.
I don't know the answer to that. That's the question I want answered.
Final question. Was her son employed, and what did he do?
He was not employed at this current time.
And how far did she have to walk from where she was held to?
Do you know, Sheriff, how far she had to walk?
No, I don't know that.
We don't have that answer.
Any connection to Jenny-O?
To Jenny-O, no, it doesn't appear to any connection to Jenny-O.
Brave little girl, but can you tell us anything about what the last 3 months have been like for her? Is there fear in her eyes?
I have not seen her, talked to her, and again, that process is taking part. We'll be back at 4 o'clock. Thank you guys all again. Appreciate it.
Just awesome. Those will be the memorable words coming from the sheriff of Barron County in his reaction and how he felt when they got the news that Jamie Kloss was alive after 3 months being abducted and being held when she was found. Joining me right now, CNN law enforcement analyst James Galliano, retired FBI supervisory special agent, Tom Fuentes, former assistant director of the FBI. Guys, it's great to have you here. You really could see the emotion, James, of everyone who was standing up there, from the sheriff to the school superintendent. It's very clear that they are in the middle of investigating. There are details, and they're not ready to give them, of what they know, how she escaped, how she is, how they knew each other. But there are a couple key points that I think there is some more detail that I want to get you on. And one of them is the sheriff says that this man, Jake Thomas Patterson, this 21-year-old, that he took, the way it was described is he took measures, proactive steps to avoid detection from the public and from law enforcement. What does that mean?
So it could mean anything. Astonishing news, Kate, as you and I discussed it here. I mean, this is an anomaly. 88 days after a horrific slaying of her parents, a 13-year-old girl is found, and she helped contribute to her own escape. I was perplexed by that as well. This was a collaborative effort. It was the Barron County Sheriff's Office, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Wisconsin State Police, and the FBI, all working together in a collaborative task force type of setting. These were my takeaways on your question. First of all, 2 counts of homicide, 1 count of kidnapping. I assume there'll probably be some superseding charges once she has had the opportunity to be debriefed. Yeah. Also, she was the only target. Now, did this individual, this 24-year-old or 21-year-old, was she a love interest of his? Had he had any contact with her prior to that? Did he use any type of subterfuge while online in contacting her? How did he stay below the police radar? The police indicated that there had been no arrest before. Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. The other piece of this is the technology aspect. We've come a long way from blood typing and latent fingerprint harvesting and DNA analysis. They use drones to cover areas, acres and acres of territory here where 2,000 people conducted the search. An outstanding job by law enforcement. I trust after the debriefing we're going to get a lot more information about how this actually transpired.
Tom, on those 2 points, I want to get your take on it. The fact that he says she was the target and the way that the sheriff described it, that it didn't appear that he'd had any contact with the family prior to. What do you make of that?
Well, Kate, I think that, as James mentioned, we're going to have to find out, was he interested in her romantically or have some obsession with her or maybe encountered her on social media? And how they know that at this point is yet to be announced, I guess. The police are going to know a lot more than we know about those type of issues. The fact that the parents were murdered but not the target is another interesting thing. Did this guy Patterson go to the house to take her, and the parents were there, so he killed them? You know, that's another part of the story that's yet to be determined. And also, did anybody along the way, he's been trying to avoid and evade law enforcement apprehension for almost 90 days. Yeah. Did he have help? Was somebody giving him assistance, maybe grocery shopping for him or doing other errands for him while he was with the girl? So we just don't know so many of those things, and that'll come out pretty soon, I would think.
And also perplexing, James, is that they say that he has zero I think the way they put it is zero criminal history.
Yeah.
This person was not on their radar before.
That's difficult because in the 21st century, the digital exhaust that we all give off, right? You open up your phone, you open up your laptop, you pass through an Easy Pass scanner, a license plate scanner picks you up, a video camera. This was in a very rural part of Wisconsin where this took place, Kate. It's a place known for logging. So I think that's going to be the difficulty. It's not like something happening in Manhattan. Police have got a lot of work to do. I think the first thing is, to Tom's point, will be a debrief of this young 13-year-old girl who's gone through a horrific tragedy and trauma. She lost her parents.
On multiple fronts.
On multiple fronts.
She witnessed her parents being murdered.
Absolutely.
And then she went through an almost 90-day trauma of being kidnapped and held, and we don't know under what conditions yet.
What happened to her, why she was essentially incarcerated by this individual. Was she restrained? Was she sexually assaulted or abused? Was she tortured in any way? Those are all going to be important considerations. And to Tom's point, who, if anybody, provided any material support or assistance to this man?
And Tom, one thing that the sheriff also said is, thank you, Jamie, for having the will to survive. And part of this is the process of reunification. And he went into a little bit of detail of what that means in terms of it's a sensitive and delicate process now, not just medical clearance, but reunification with the family, speaking with her, and how to not, I don't know, re-traumatize her once again and trying to get more information out of her. What's the process like now?
That's an extremely difficult process, and you're right, Kate. The investigators, the detectives, will have assistance from professional counselors and therapists in how to delicately try to get this information from her, but at some point she's going to go back to members of the family, and they're going to be trying to counsel them on how to react with her, what to say, how to say it, to not re-traumatize her. And another important aspect is that she has been through such a horrific circumstance. Has there been, a subliminal effort on her part to block out what happened, to not remember, to put it out of her mind? So that'll be another thing to try to again, try to get her to recall these things without re-traumatizing her. And secondly, there's going to be a certain amount of trauma that's inevitable because at some point there's going to be a prosecution and she's going to be a witness and she's going to have to essentially, for our judicial system, relive this entire episode.
One thing we do know with obviously very little detail, though, James, is we do know, you can see how strong she is. The will to survive, her ability to escape, her ability to, her will to find someone and say who she is and ask for help. And I thought, remember, she's a 13-year-old girl, and she told them who this person was and described the car that he was in.
Resilience and resourcefulness you don't normally detect or see in a teenager. And going back to the point that the conversation you had with Tom, the FBI has a program called Victim Assistance Program, the VAP, and that program is designed for twofold things. One is to protect this victim. This young girl's lived through something that none of us can even possibly imagine unless we endured something similar. Yeah. The second piece, she is going to be the central figure, the linchpin in the investigation and then, to Tom's point, also in the prosecution. So very delicate threading of the needle here. How do you deal with a young child? She's a child. Yes. How do you deal with that and make sure that she is able to be reintegrated into normal society after surviving that? And then secondly, we've got to make sure that this individual gets prosecuted and convicted to the fullest extent of the law.
And at some point, and you can see the love of the community there's no question, but at some point she's also going to be dealing with another trauma with the joy that comes with the fact that she was found alive, dealing with the fact that her parents were killed, and she has family, but she's without her parents now. But an amazing day, and much more detail to come. As they said, there's going to be another briefing later today, and it sounds like they'll have much more detail on what they're learning and how this amazing 13-year-old girl was able to survive, escape, and find help. James, thank you so much. Tom, thank you all very much